Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic. The 2010s decade will be over in 4 months. What do you think people will remember this decade for? The social media explosion. And the Twitties will be the implosion. We're already sick of ourselves. It's going to be so weird saying the 2020s. I don't like this realize RTO. The IoTs are soon 30 years ago. Just think, 30 years before the 90s was the 60s. The rise of the smartphone. Everyone has access to the internet and can voice their opinion towards the world at any moment with all the negative effects that it brings. Imho, this is the biggest one. The iPhone came out in 2007. It was a solid year or two before you had traction there. Now, phones have pretty much replaced most people's home computers for menial tasks. I'll tell you this. 2012 was the year the majority of the internet users were on phones, and not laptops or desktops, so the 2010s is definite the year where the smartphones changed everything. Suddenly kids and old people and tech-illiterate people came to the internet and it's changed everything. Real headlines trying to outdo The Onion. That's never going to happen. The Onion headline about the president causing a controversy by drawing on a map with a Sharpie still cracks me up. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. My generation is going to be known for wanting to die and memes. Guess we can replace generation for decade. We're the Doomer generation, not the millennials. Or maybe that's Gen Z IDK, it's all a mess right now. Doomer generation Nomeo. The meme renaissance. Chapter 7, memes were the quintessential millennial mode of expression, akin to the hieroglyphics of Egypt and the cuneiform tablets of Sumer. Early 21st century internet savants populated their Facebook feeds with fan favorites such as lolcats and Velociraptor. As the trend caught on, memes diversified and developed, getting adopted by such institutions as politics, academia, and postmodern avant-garde expressionism. As memes became more sophisticated, so too did their influence over society. The charged political landscape ignited a trend of weaponizing them for political use, culminating into the bloody meme wars of 2028. At the rate memes are evolving, the meme wars will begin way sooner than 2028. Started off as image macros, ended as screenshots of tweets. Also from viral videos you'd understand to surreal meme humor. People are gonna reminisce about how good the 2010s were. They may not seem good now, but just wait to see what the 2020s have in store for you. Oh no. Cool_aid_man PNG. Honestly, this happens with anything that happened 20 years ago. I can find forums from the 2000s saying that the 2000s suck, just for a decade later for them to miss it so much. Nostalgia is just a stupid fad. When the 2030s roll around and people are nostalgic for the 2010s, I'll just laugh in their faces. Anytime I get nostalgic over the 2000s, I remind myself of that time when I was 12 and unsure if my dad was alive or not on November the 9th, 01. Then watching us invade a country over non-existent WMDs 2 years later. And then watching a lot of my friends' parents lose their jobs in 08. The 2000s were an awful fucking time. Edit, holy crap this blew up. Since many asked, my dad was okay. We are from NJ but he used to commute to NYC. He actually called in sick that day, but back then not every kid had a cell phone and cell lines were down on 9/11s anyways. So I didn't know until I got home from school that he was fine. I feel horrible for not remembering the exact number but IRC 4 to 5 kids from my middle school lost a parent. Social media /influencers. Netflix /streaming, it was available before 2010, but didn't get reliable until after. Swipe dating apps, the word online dating and dating sites are now swapped with the phrases dating apps. Obama /Trump. People will remember social media, but I have a very strong feeling nobody's going to give a shit about these influencers anymore in the future. No one does now. https://www.insider.com. The death of traditional media. Printed newspapers and periodicals, broadcast television and radio are fading. And while digital music way predates the 2010s, it took until this decade for pop stars to stop selling albums. They aren't tallying CD sales anymore, they're counting unique streams. Their death will be in the 2020s. They were still huge in the 2010s, but began losing their revenue and popularity. I feel the final nail will come sometime around the halfway point. The incredible rise of misinformation and irresponsible knee-jerk reaction choices on very serious topics. The ability for social media users to quickly destroy someone's life when they have a lapse of judgment. We did it, Reddit. Looking forward to this thread being unearthed in 2029. I hope you all are doing better than us. 2029 seems like 100 years away, but 2009 to now flew. I hope I'm done college by then and have a job, or I'll be in some trouble, lol. The horrific turn the Area 51 raid took, resulting in hundreds dead and the unleashing of angry captive aliens upon the world to exact their revenge on humanity. Don't forget the military being defeated by swarms of Area 2 runners, leading to new arms limitation treaties banning the use of the Area 2 run in any armed conflict. They also banned AIM as a result, which caused weebs to flood the streets of Washington, wafer body pillows in hand, and Shizo Abe to publicly cut all ties with the United States. No one could have predicted the butterfly effect of what ensued following the Area 51 raid. This will be in history books if we survive that long under our new alien overlords. On the bright side, the aliens disguised as humans finally revealed their identities as a result. Elon Musk was no surprise, but I think we can all agree no one was expecting Todd Howard to be one, opening up a lot of questions about the true nature of Skyrim. We've been at war for 18 fucking years. Yeah, some kids who were born after 9/11 can enlist in the army now. We actually have one in my unit and we are currently deployed. From a design/aesthetic standpoint. Minimalism/flat design, mostly due to the rise of tablets and browsing the internet on mobile devices. Clean lines, simple colors like black, white and gray. TV commercials, early 2010s ads are backed by upbeat xylophone/triangle/whistling/hand clapping music, or people break dancing or doing the worm to obnoxious dubstep music. The late 2010s have vivid colors and imagery, vaporwave style aesthetics, and loud over-the-top spokespeople talking fast in the middle of the screen. Think Captain Obvious from the Hotels.com commercials or Terry Crews from the Old Spice commercials. Entering a new golden age of automotive design. Almost every new car from the decade is elaborately styled. Car interiors with angular, intricate dashboards, like the Ford Escape, Chevy Equinox or Hyundai Santa Fe. This might end in the 2020s as crash safety technology requires more new cars to look the same, and car interiors will replace dashboards and gauges with touch screens. Thanks, Tesla. A move away from chain restaurants and the rise of food trucks and locally owned restaurants that all feature string lighting, outdoor tables with giant Jagger blocks, Edison bulbs, and a craft beer selection written on a chalkboard. All houses are painted in that grid color and have all white kitchens with that same white subway tile backsplash. There is probably a barn door, shiplap accent wall, and a fiddle leaf fig inside. A move away from chain restaurants and the rise of food trucks and locally owned restaurants that all feature string lighting, outdoor tables with giant Jagger blocks, Edison bulbs, and a craft beer selection written on a chalkboard. In big cities, that is true. In smaller communities, chain restaurants are more prevalent than ever before. In southern Ontario, communities that had no Tim Hortons a decade ago but had a locally owned mom-and-pop coffee shop or diner now have Tim Hortons. Brighton, Ildertu, and Komoka are just 3 of those towns. It's very hard to find locally owned businesses in smaller communities nowadays, at least in Canada. The wild switch from President Obama to President Trump. Say what you want good or bad about either of them, but their ways of doing the job are very different in many ways. Edit, thanks for the gold and silver, whoever you are. You put that very politically neutral, I like it. From a video game standpoint, this is the decade of the ID explosion, esports, battle royals and microtransactions. From a cinematic standpoint, this is the age of superheroes. Comic book movies dominated in the last decade and they are not going anywhere anytime soon. I think we'll eventually look back at superhero movies the way that we look back at cowboy movies. I'm just hoping that the 2020s will be the resurgence of gangster suits, black fedoras, and saying things like, "I'll punch you into mush, see?" And leaning against a street lamp at night flipping a coin in the air with your thumb. While chomping on a cigar. Didn't see it here so I'll mention it. The Syrian civil war and rise and fall of the Islamic State. Shit, the Syrian civil war will still be going next decade, fret not. It's almost over. I'm sure of it this time, guys, I swear. Even now, it already seems forgotten. I'm not sure how well it will be remembered given that. Social media. Memes. Smartphones. Trump. Depression and memes. But really, I think mental health will be one of the biggest problems going forward, and this is going to be known as the times when it emerged as a problem. They will remember how great summer 2016 was. Edit, I removed the comma. The first few weeks of Pokemon Go were magical. It felt like I was actually in the Pokemon world. Everyone was out adventuring and sharing what they caught. The excitement of people on the train or in the store. It was whimsical. I remember walking all the way to Liberty State Park because it was the only place to find Eevee. I went several times and each time only found one. Thank God eggs came along.